Hello everyone, you're watching Global Leaders Network, WINTV. There are many leaders globally in areas such as government, non-for-profit organization, our industry, hospital, education, and etc. Global Leaders Network invites these leaders and share their wonderful stories. Today I invited Sheryl Bodine. You're an author, correct?
I am.
Oh, please introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Sherrill Bodine. I have published 19 novels. I used to write for Harlequin many years ago as a pseudonym, and now all my books are Sherrill Bodine books. I'm very excited about that.
Oh, wow.
Many of them are audiobooks. Of course, they're all up on the internet. I'm also very active in the philanthropic community in Chicago. So that's maybe, you ask about my hobby, that's it, I think, is giving back to the community. It's not a hobby, it's a labor of love.
Wow, you're beautiful, by the way.
Oh, so are you. Your skin is amazing.
Oh, your skin is amazing.
Well, we shouldn't be plugging products that we use. Right?
Yes.
Just never go out in the sun and never go to bed without washing your face.
Oh, that's your beauty tip.
Those are two beauty tips, yeah.
I see, I see. Would you please, these are your books, right? Would you please
These are
tell
three
us,
of the ones I wrote about Chicago for Warner Books. This one, Talk of the Town, is about Chicago's most notorious gossip columnist who gets demoted to writing a food column and turns it into a gossip column, totally successful, totally ends up with the hero, of course. Actually, this book, there was an excerpt in it, of it, in the Cosmopolitan magazine.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a fun, wonderful book. I dedicate it to one of my dear friends who was a gossip columnist in Chicago, Ann Gerber. So it's a fun, fun book. It's got great reviews. And, you know, it's been looked at in Hollywood, but that could be another 30 years before that happens. But they have it out there.
I see.
So that's kind of fun.
I love the cover.
Isn't
you
it?
see?
I
It's
know.
so
Don't you
beautiful.
love it?
Yeah.
They did this whole series of mine in Chicago with beautiful dresses on the front because I do kind of like fashion. So
I can tell.
I like to play dress up. Yeah, I do.
And also second book is The Black Tie Affair.
And they all are connected. They all stand alone. But some of the characters in this book move to this book and certainly to the next one.
Oh, and these are novels, I believe.
These are novels, and they all take place in Chicago. And I always say I write about real people, but I change the names to protect the guilty. The innocent don't need protecting. So you'll probably recognize a few people in these books. And certainly the places.
Oh, I see. Can you tell us
This was a mystery. This was a mystery. And it takes place in the Chicago History Museum. And it's about, I was told by the curator that he once got poisoned by a black Dior evening gown. And I'm thinking, well, as a writer, I'm thinking, how did that happen? Well, vintage clothing, back in the 40s, they used some kind of plastic. And he was, you know, on the floor looking up at it because you have to take provenance on the clothing. And the fumes, he started hallucinating. So, and he said, you know, you just say these things. It's like almost like a truth serum. So I used that. So there's humor and there's a mystery in this one. It's a fun little read.
Wow.
It really is.
Wow.
And then you meet one of the sisters from this book. You meet her in All I Want Is You, which is a fun, wonderful book. It was a Book of the Month Club selection. This is actually one of my favorite books. One of the reviewers said it covers every genre. There's mystery. There's, of course, there is love and intimacy in the book, but not over the top. But it's a fun read. They're all just great reads, and I always have some kind of message in there. You know, there's got to be a theme.
Oh, I see.
So these are fun, fun books. Different than the one I'm working on right now.
Oh, you're writing another book?
Oh, writers are always writing. I mean, I got some ideas walking in here today about, oh, now that might be interesting. And just this whole International Plaza, I didn't even know it existed out here.
Wow.
So you never know. Be careful. But
Oh.
I will promise to change your name if you're guilty. Okay?
Oh, maybe I can be your character over there.
You never know. You never know.
Oh, they're interesting, you know. And at the same time, I was wondering, what was your dream when you were young? You always, it seems to me that you always loved to write. Yeah.
I think I could teach you how to write, but I couldn't teach you imagination. It's either gift or curse. You know, sometimes it's a curse when it's not coming the way you want it to. Yes, I think I did. I sold. In the 7th grade, I won a pair of silver skates for winning an essay contest on TV.
Wow.
And you know, then I was the picture editor of my high school newspaper. You know, went to college to study, well, actually nursing, because I was reared by my grandparents. And in those days, she said, well, that's great that you've won these writing awards, but how's that going to pay your bills? You have to be a teacher, a secretary, and there was one other, a nurse. Oh. So, and my oldest daughter is a nurse, and she's a wonderful nurse. Probably a much better nurse than I would have been, but maybe not. But the passion for writing was always there. And when my children were young, I used to write for, you know, like freelancing. You'd send something to like True Confessions magazine. You know, none of those stories are true, you know. I mean, they're all made up. And you kept your finger in that way. And then I sold my first novel in '88. Very exciting. You know, somebody said, oh, it was an overnight success. No, I've been working at it a while. But I happened to get, sell 3 books in 1 week.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a 2-book deal. I wrote about Regency novels, about the Regency period in England. I did those for Fawcett Ballantyne. I love those.
Wow.
So those were fun.
I have a personal question. How long does it take you to write one book?
Well, that depends. My first book, Buried Shadows, it took 7 weeks because they needed it in 7 weeks. Of course, I practically got an ulcer over that one.
How many pages were there?
Not as big as this. Little smaller than this. I've taken 9 months. It's like giving birth, blood, sweat, and tears. It can vary. It can vary. Deadlines. I work better under a deadline. Because otherwise one tends to procrastinate, or I tend to procrastinate. So it can be any time. Well, the book I'm working on now, it's actually taking me years to write because it's a very personal book, and it's tough. It's the toughest book I've ever written.
Wow. Well, let me know. If
I'm halfway through.
Oh, halfway. Wow.
Yes. And more than half, really, because I have it outlined. But it's a memoir about my mother.
Wow. What made you actually become an author?
I wanted to write. I wanted to explore. I grew up in the movie theaters because my mother had the mind of a child. She was born with a lot of developmental problems, but my grandparents chose to rear her like they were rearing other children, that she was going to have everything, do everything the other children did. I mean, she could never learn to read or write. She has had temper tantrums. There were problems. They let her go out with her cousins and her sisters, her brothers, and she became pregnant with me. I was reared by them. But when I was 5, they explained to me that it was my job to make sure that she had everything she would have had, because had she been born normal, or right is the word they always use, if she'd been right, she would have married, she would have had a child, she would have had grandchildren. So through me, that could all happen for her. But since she couldn't read or write, she loved film. So we would literally, from the time I was 5, I saw every movie that came through my hometown. So that excitement of film, I think that's where my love for fashion and travel, I mean, I dreamed about, oh my gosh, I'm in Lafayette, Indiana, but I can go to Timbuktu, I can go to Paris, I can go to London. I can live this big life. So,
how many countries did you travel so far?
I have wanderlust. I've done a couple of articles. I did a travel article on Myanmar. I've done one on Zanzibar. I travel all over the world. I'm kind of obsessed by it. I love it. In fact, we're going to Africa again in January. I've been to Africa, I've been to Tanzania many years ago without my husband and with dear friends for the Great Migration, which is wonderful. And we've been to South Africa many times, but he's never seen Tanzania and the Great Migration. So we're going to go in January.
I think you can make another book.
Always.
You know, seeing another country, you know, the people and culture.
Oh, it's wonderful.
Yeah.
I mean, and the things that you learn, honestly, when you travel, we're all very much alike. You meet mothers, like, been to China many, many, many times. And when I hear people say, oh, all they want is boys, I mean, that's, really, that's not true. You know, it's just not true. And certain things that you hear about on the news and you go, clearly you haven't been there. Like one person was saying, oh yes, you can drive in India at night, not if you want to live through the night. So it's interesting how much it makes you grow, and it's the best learning that you can do. I encourage everybody to do it.
Wow, wow. What do you do when you have a spare time? You seem very busy, I mean, you know, doing, writing most of your books.
I am blessed with a lot of energy. Thank you. I am very active philanthropically. I'm very involved with the Service Club of Chicago and the Chicago History Museum, their Costume Council, which preserves Chicago's history in clothing. They have wonderful pieces, actually the second best in the world. It's a wonderful place. I love fashion, I love film. You know, writing takes up a lot of time. I have a lot of children, a lot of grandchildren, and a husband.
How many children do you have?
4.
And grandchildren?
12.
Oh.
I know. The shopping, I have a lot to do in the next 2 weeks before Christmas.
But you look very young.
Well, we eloped very young. It was during Vietnam. So I always laughingly say I was barely legal. I went to college when I was 17, and I eloped my freshman year. So
yeah, I think
we've been together a long time.
Oh, I see. I think you'd be a perfect person to write about the beauty tip, you know, on newspaper or magazine.
Well, you just wash your face before you go to bed, stay out of the sun. And moisturize.
I think that's the most important thing.
And don't sleep on your face. It makes wrinkles.
Oh, really?
Right. I mean,
oh.
Well, I can't really do it much anyway because I have a birth defect in my neck and I don't have much range of motion. So
some people say don't smile because you get wrinkles around.
Oh, you've got to smile. There's nothing more beautiful than a smile.
And these wrinkles here and here.
You know? Well, I think they have a little injection they can do for those these days.
And also, I noticed the Service Club, they host a lot of fashion shows.
Well, we do one a year, and it's fabulous. It is Day on the Terrace, and this year we are using some local designers. I love a local designer made this, Hector Moneris. Yes,
beautiful. I
love supporting the local designers. Because, you know, in the creative world, we're all in this together.
Right.
So I really love that. And, you know, you can go to the stores, you can go to Neiman's, you know, you can buy all the designers. But there's a lot of talent in Chicago, a lot.
Right.
And I like to promote that and wear it.
Yeah, and you can be a model there too.
Well, I'm a little short to be a model.
There are many kinds of models.
Oh, that's true. I'm a little short. Yeah. You know, often, well, you're in the beauty business too, and you know, you'll see something at a fashion show, and you think, oh God, I love that. Of course, this woman is, what, almost 6 foot tall. She'd look good in a paper bag, you know what I mean? So, but when you scale it down,
but I cannot wear her clothes. I'm not that tall.
I know. That's good. You put it scaled down. It's not going to look the same.
Yeah.
It's not going to look the same. I love, and I think that came from the films too, that it was how clothing really can project something.
Right.
Like, I like to play dress up. I get up in the morning, do the whole bit, so that you never know what the day is going to present. And I'm ready for it.
Wow.
That's why my blog is biggest.life. And it's about, you know, taking chances, dare to be curious. You know, just live your best life.
Right.
Not anybody else's, but yours.
Your life.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a good quote. Yeah.
Oh, you can use it.
Yes. Do you have your own website? Maybe. Yeah.
Actually, yes, I do. It's called biggest.life. Some of my books are up there. I am going to be doing a series on restaurants.
Oh,
Well, you know,
interesting.
I try to focus on some of the dare to be curious. And one of them is using local designers. A lot of people are afraid to do that. Don't be afraid. They have beautiful fabrics. They work with you, and it's you help in the in the creative process. It's great. I didn't know I loved Indian food until I went to India. I would have said, oh, Indian food, oh no, sorry, something else. I went to India, loved it.
Oh.
And people, they need to try things like Korean food. People would say, oh no, I don't think I like Korean food. Oh, I went to Korea, love it. So I have a friend that grew up in India. She moved here as a teenager. And we're going to do a series on Indian restaurants. And I think we're going to film them. I do have one of my grandchildren started a YouTube channel for me. Of course, I have nothing on it, but I will, because I'll be talking about Indian restaurants.
Yeah.
And I love the clothing in India. The women are beautiful.
And fabric is wonderful too.
Oh.
Very colorful.
Wonderful. I mean, we were once out in the country, and these women were carrying rocks and on their heads, and these beautiful saris. They were meticulous. I mean, they were meticulous. And I'm thinking, if I was doing that, I'd be beautiful posture. They're pristine. They were pristine. And the fabrics are just, you can't take your eyes off of them.
Right.
We were in Delhi, and I saw this woman wearing this beautiful sari. The color was magnificent, the beading. I told my husband, I said, could we go around the block? I'd like to stop and talk to her and find out where she got that. And of course, men. No, we have to be at this museum or something, but yeah.
It worked out really well at the end.
Yeah, right. I did buy some fabric. I did have some things made.
And also, you're going to be a president for all the service club.
I will this coming year. I was a president about 9 years ago after my mother passed away. I did it 1 year in honor of my mother because Service Club helps so many women like my mother because now there are work programs. I think that had that been possible for my mother, she could have been trained to work, to have some kind of, I don't want to say job, but something that would occupy her and maybe enlarge her life, certainly enlarge her life. And this year, one of my dearest friends passed away. Actually, my friend who I went to Tanzania with the first time. And so I'm going to do it 1 year in honor of Linda. Yeah, very dear to my heart. She loves Service Club. I love Service Club. She loves the mission. I love the mission. It's a wonderful organization. Yeah. It's been tough.
What do you want to achieve through, your writing?
Well, don't we all want to be on the New York Times bestsellers list and have all my movies made in, all my movies, see? I'm already thinking
Movies,
that.
yeah.
All my books made into movies like Stephen King.
Oh.
People want to be, you write because if you didn't write, your head would blow off. But you want to be appreciated for your work.
Right.
Because you put everything you have into creating these stories and creating these characters and making them real. And it's a thrill when people send you messages and say, oh my gosh, I love that character, or I couldn't put the book down. That's the ultimate compliment you can give a writer. Is to say, oh, I stayed up all night to finish your book. Yay.
Maybe I'm going to be your fan.
Oh, good. I hope so. Let me know. These are for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What is success to you?
Well, I feel like when you're the best that you can be, when you give to others and you feel positive about yourself. I guess there's always the monetary thing. It's always like, oh, well, everybody says, oh, if I'm making more money or, this or that. Of course, that plays into it. But just, making life bigger, biggest, not life. That's why I did the blog. It's about that. And about, don't make your life narrow. That's in your thinking and anything. Dare to be curious. And I think that that's what you have to do. I still have lots of things I want to do.
You're very successful and...
well, I'm very busy.
Oh, we're very busy, I know.
But I like that. I like it. I'm not one to do a lot of, I do yoga though.
Oh,
I do yoga.
How many times do you do yoga?
Not as often as I should. I try to go to class at least 2 times a week. It's like my 1 hour that you kind of unplug. Of course, my favorite pose is, the last one. Where you just lie there. Oh yeah, sink into the ground. Wake me when it's over, right? But it's fun. I like it. I'm not somebody that goes to the gym. I should, but
Right.
I'd rather do yoga. I'd rather go walking. That's why I love to travel. We walk. Oh my gosh.
How do you manage your time?
Well, if you talk to my husband, not well, but I'm better when I have a deadline. Otherwise, little jobs can kind of
Distraction.
yeah,
Right.
like my closets. We don't want to talk about my closets, but I try to prioritize. Like, of course, this time of year, it's all about the holidays, the kids coming. I have Thanksgiving, and I have this party, and it started years ago. I would invite people that had nowhere to go, friends that maybe for religious reasons they didn't celebrate Christmas or their families were elsewhere. It started as a sit-down dinner with all the china and the crystal and the silver and all of that for 30, and then it went to sit-down dinner for 40, and then when it reached 50, I said, I think we have to change the format because I have no more dishes or silverware or anything else to do. So now it is, it's almost Christmas Eve. It's the 23rd, and it's probably about 100 people. And Santa comes, and there are kids, and there are, there'll be people from 94 to 2 there. And it's just that feeling of the holidays that we're all in this together, and we all need to embrace each other with as much grace, humor, and compassion as we can muster. And I like people.
Oh, I can tell, definitely.
I just, I'm curious about them and how they're doing, and like I'm just enamored of your skincare. Because I know that's something you're very interested in.
Right. What brings you happiness?
Being here with you, talking about things I love. I'm very other-centered because I grew up that way with my mom. I've always taken care of somebody. Actually, my freshman year in college, I thought, oh my gosh, I went home every weekend because of my mother, but it was like I didn't know how to organize my time because I'd so used to, well, I got to be home for this, I got to take care of mom here, that I didn't really organize my time well. And I try to do have a structure. I tend to work late at night, right, because then the phone's not ringing. Because otherwise, and I'm not good. If I look down and my phone is beeping and it's somebody, I think, I better take that. I can't resist. Now, some people are better. These are my 4 hours. You'll have to wait until later to call me. But with the 4 children, I said, you can bother me if there's blood or somebody's not breathing, But I would never hold to that, They would always knock on the door. And
Imagine 12 grandchildren.
12, oh my gosh, and they're wonderful. They're mostly boys.
Boys?
I know. I have very few shopping partners. But yeah, mostly boys. 9 boys.
9 boys.
I know. And they range in age. Oh, there's a lot of difference. So I have different relationships with all of them. I love them. We go to the movies together. We travel together. I take them on trips when they graduate from high school.
Wow.
And junior high. And it's great for me. I love showing them the world because to me it's the best school there is.
Let us know if you have any events related to your books and maybe also Service Club.
I will let you know. That's wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate your support.
You're welcome. At the end, we would like to see your books to be on Hollywood, some of the movies in the future, Of course, Yeah,
I don't know who would play these characters, but I have some ideas.
You have a great inspiration. People will love that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I love being here today and learning about the studio and what you all do here. You're living big, bigger, biggest life.
Yeah, I'm
following your dreams.
Yeah, following. I'm shy when I talk about myself, Well,
where's that mic? I can interview you. Next time.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing your story. Do you have any comments to our audience today?
just the same thing I've said, you know, dare to be curious, live big, bigger, biggest, and remember to love every minute of your life. Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming to our station and sharing your story with us.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here.
Yours truly inspiring.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for watching Global Leaders Network WINTV. If you want to watch this again, you can watch through our website and YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe us. And I want to see all of you next week, Thursday, 9 p.m. Until then, have a great week. Bye-bye, everyone.